What's happening, people? And once again, welcome back to youtube.com/CubCamTV for this, another edition of CUBREACTS as we continue to explore the latest new musical flavour. And today we are jumping right back into the heart of this brand new album from Runtown. It goes by the name Signs, and the title track is the track we're getting into today. Apparently, this isn't a typical Afrobeats tune. Apparently, it's a reggae tune, which I find quite interesting, given the majority of kind of Runtown's more modern releases have been more in an Afrobeat space. I think it's quite an interesting thing to do, to actually have the title track off your sort of first big project in a while to be a track that's in a genre you wouldn't necessarily immediately associate the artist with. So that's quite a cool thing to see. I'm excited to check this one out. As always, if you are new to the channel, do make sure you are getting involved by hitting that subscribe button on the right hand side of the page. Of course, turning notifications on as well, leaving a like, leaving a comment, and all of that good stuff. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into this one. Let's go. So we've already got the syncopated chords.
Money dollar sign, so the X signs. Can't you see the warning signs? Do you believe in miracles? Do you believe in signs? Never sell my soul, never switch for a
I already absolutely love this.
Blood on the flag, and kill another.
The whole feel of this already is just smoky as anything. I'm loving the fact you've kind of got that almost West Coast style synthesizer pattern running throughout the heart of this as well. That sort of sort of line. That's really, really cool to have in there. On top of that as well, you've got that big sort of moody bass line. Very similar pattern to Welcome to Jamrock. The bass line on that do 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 do. There's a slight difference in notation, but the actual sort of pattern is very similar. And again, big sort of almost dusty sounding hip hop drums on there as well. And then you've got Runtown's vocal over the top, just doing absolute bits as well. Sounding very like Chronics, to be honest with you. Really, really cool so far.
Story of my life, and then not tell you otherwise. Story of my life, and then not tell you otherwise. Getting like that, nothing but the same blood in my eyes. Oh, every day we cry, waiting on the price and not the last sign. Oh, not give me a sign, not give me a sign. Oh, we're written the line.
Something else I already really like about this is the fact that it is literally unapologetically something very, very different from Runtown. You can hear that in his vocal performance right from the jump as well. His vocal sounds very, very clean over the top. You have got this kind of really nice sense of melody going on. Again, it reminds me a lot of kind of a Chronics or a Protege, very much following that sort of modern reggae approach. The bass line down below is tough as anything as well. Really, really carving its way through the lower end of this as a tune. It sounds fantastic, man. I'm really, really liking how this is coming together.
Everybody running. If they don't see the signs, won't be nothing but the dead man walking. I say everybody running.
I'm loving how smoky it feels as well. The constant, I want to say transition in the vocal style is really, really cool on this as well. We're hearing Runtown go into so many different areas, different patterns, melodies, just overall approach. It's really, really interesting to see kind of how he's doing it more than anything else, and the sort of, I suppose, energy level he's bringing to the table. It's always cool to hear someone outside their more typical space, but I think he is taking this and running with it with a real sense of finesse. And it makes me want to hear more reggae from Runtown. That's the sort of thing I immediately think when I hear this.
Running, and if they don't see the signs, won't be nothing but the dead man walking. To the basics, so take it back to the genesis. Before the money and the jealousy, friends don't frenemies. If you never get to see the signs, that's the penalty. It's a blessing when the sun shine, but the less to see. And it's a mess of the light, make me smoke on the piss. Sorry, not sorry. What
I like as well is they haven't gone kind of over the top with the sort of classic reggae elements. Obviously, those syncopated chords are a big part of any sort of classic reggae tune. The big bass line as well, to be honest, the sort of halftime style of drum hit as well. But they're not kind of being played into too much. They're just kind of there. They're forming the backdrop. The most exciting thing about this for me is actually hearing how Runtown is utilizing a sense of rhythm, constantly switching and kind of dipping in and out of a more toasted dancehall style, then going into more sort of classic reggae sing-along flavors as well. He's just utilizing the full breadth of the instrumental and turning it into something very, very enjoyable to listen to. This is great.
Rich, I won't reach. If I didn't go to church, will I forgive me for my sins? Some people them wait for a very long time. Must be why everybody looking for signs. Them pray like a million times. Some people them wait for a very long time.
Again, a tune like this, it's all about utilising the pockets. Reggae typically is quite a syncopated genre, so you kind of have the up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's the sort of general thing you get from it. It's the same in ska, because it's the same utilising of those kind of chord progressions that gives you a lot of the sense of rhythm and direction within any tune. What I like about this with Runtown is that he's seeing those pockets of rhythm and he's turning them into something completely different. Like, he's turned this into something very unique. I think there's such a big scope for him to do something like this again in a similar kind of area, similar kind of sound, without it sounding forced or kind of, I don't know, forced it, like pushed into existence. I just love the approach that he's coming with, and I think he's delivering something which is very unique, and it's a really cool thing to see in regards to him starting off an album. This is how the album starts. I love that. Those additional vocals that are now being layered in, just giving it an extra sense of texture, direction, even an almost kind of eerie feel, which is actually running throughout the heart of the tune as well. I think this is so impressive. Again, the instrumentation is fantastic. That bass line is doing a lot of damage in the lower end. On top of that, the kind of general stutter you've got going on within the sort of drum work as well is beautifully made. It's a really, really good piece of like sort of new school reggae production. I love the fact there are so many different influences all pouring into it as well, and they're being wrapped up together by that Runtown vocal. So clean. See what I mean about that bass line as well? That so similar to the to the one from Damian Marley, Welcome to Jamrock, and obviously that's like a kind of pop reggae classic of the 2000s. Like, it's like one of those big tunes that kind of came out of nowhere, and then suddenly everyone was like, wow, this is where reggae's going in the future, and it still had that kind of smoky feel. There's a real similarity in the actual production style between these two tunes. And it's great to hear. I've got to say, I've loved this from Runtown. We'll let this one run through to the end and then give it our final breakdown. But again, very, very, very impressive stuff. And there we go. A nice, smoky, dusty fade out. The tune draws towards a close. There we go. There, the sounds of Runtown. This one at Signs, the introductory track off his brand new Signs album, also the title track as well. I very much enjoyed this. I've got to say, I'm a big reggae fan. If you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know that I have a lot of roots in reggae. It's pretty much where it's my earliest memory is literally jumping around the house, jumping around on sofas, listening to an Anthony B tune. That's the earliest memory in my head. So reggae has always been almost like the sort of soundtrack, the heartbeat to a lot of my life. So it's really cool to see an artist who is very versatile like Runtown, but see Runtown dip into this kind of sound in a very kind of modernized take on reggae, and it worked without a shadow of a doubt. It really, really does work. So there we go, my friends. As always, let me know your thoughts on this one in the comment section down below, and as always, if you are new to the channel as well, make sure you're getting involved by hitting that subscribe button on the right hand side of the page, turning notifications on as well, leaving a like, leaving a comment, and all of that good stuff, and we shall see you all next time. Peace.
Them sounding so good right now. But they're sounding a Brighton town.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now, CUBREACTS TV. Stay locked.